Okay. Is there a supervisor in there, hon?
Yes.
Can you get somebody? I need to get Corella and that out. I want them to lift them out to me.
You want me to?
Yeah, can you? You take care of them? Okay, you can do it, love. So they have air conditioning in the summer and they have heat in the winter. So these are two of the animals that we kept that are educational animals. Okay, hello, Corella. Hey, your mom.
So who's this?
This is Corella. Yeah, she's one of the two skunks that I kept. And they're so good for education. And you can see them, they're diggers. They take the bugs and stuff that you don't want in your garden, things like that. That's what they do. Mom hasn't been over here in a bit. No. When you raise something, you know, like they were basically neonates when I got them. And, you know, you raise them and you spend that much time with them. And so they're important to you, you know. They're precious. But I love all the skunks, but these two, well, I love a lot. And I always tell my interns and stuff, because I always tell them, don't kiss the animals or whatever. Just do what I tell you, but not what you see me do. Because I always kiss everything. Yeah. Critter Care Wildlife Society provides short and long-term care to our native mammal species, and through rehabilitation and public education helps prevent suffering of injured and orphaned wildlife. And I like to say that there's the 3 R's, which is rescue, rehabilitate, and release.
A lot of the animals will be raccoons. We will often go out for adult raccoons, for example, since the babies a lot of the time the members of the public will be able to bring in themselves. Also smaller animals like squirrels, for example. We also occasionally get, for example, coyotes. And then rarer cases we also have, for example, bears, otters, or deer.
We take in around more than 2,000 animals each year, mostly orphaned, a lot of them injured. The sad thing is that most of those injuries are human caused, so we try our best to get them back to kind of prevent that.
A lot of animals that we intake here at Critter Care get a bad rap, whether that's they are dangerous or they're destructive to property. I think it's important to remember that we have moved onto their land. We are taking over their space. We are approaching wildlife in a way that they've never seen before, and a lot of these animals have no other place to go rather than living next to humans.
I love all the animals, don't get me wrong. I love all the animals, and I've been so lucky to have raised so many different species that most people will never even see in their lifetime, never mind even touch, you know what I'm saying? But the raccoons have always been the special animal for me. And then I would say the skunks. I raised 2 skunks. I love them all. I mean, I've raised bear cubs. I've had bear cubs in my home and things like that. In fact, I can remember telling my husband when he went to work one day, said, you know, I'm gonna have a bear cub, a beaver, raccoons, and otters by the time you get home from work today. And he said, oh yeah, right. Well, he shouldn't have said that because they were there. When I think back, it was such a lot of work. And you know, when we took over this center, it wasn't like this. It was where the triage is. There was like a coal stove where you had tar all over the ceiling and stuff. And as we were coming out, I said to him, oh my God, what have I done, like, by wanting to start this? And I can remember him saying, Gail, today is Friday the 13th, and it's my birthday, and it'll always be a good day.
A daily basis here, nothing is ever, so much that happens in one day, you can't plan it. A single day can involve anything from fixing a toilet to scrubbing a raccoon cage. The possibilities are endless.
It starts off with doing your animals in the morning, just making sure they're all fed. It's usually mostly cleaning stuff, making sure the center looks clean, making sure the hygiene is top level. so our animals don't get sick.
We examine the animals that come into our center. We care for them, treat them, are involved with feeding, just cleaning the site and stuff like that as well, of course. Basically anything here that is in any way like animal related.
Medication administration, medication dosing, overseeing the animals on site as well as the interns and other staff.
Helping through deliveries we get and, cleaning out our animals, feeding and sometimes rescues.
So the rescue, of course, always starts basically with a call, mostly, or sometimes a text or email from a member of the public that is reporting an injured animal, an animal in any way in distress, potentially orphaned animals.
If they're badly injured, like they need to come in ASAP. In baby season, which usually starts sometimes it can start as early as March, but in May it gets really, really busy and you get a lot of babies and a lot of people, they get them and then they want to try and raise them and you legally can't. So it's important to get them into a center that knows what they're doing.
It's always, of course, difficult to initially assess the situation. Every situation is different. We have to assess if an animal actually needs to and benefits from coming into our care. We will ask the members of the public sometimes to send us footage and stuff like that, but it might still be difficult to assess from afar what the best course of action will be.
There are a lot of situations that could be avoided if people called and got advice before they intervened, because we are the experts in this field and a lot of things are done incorrectly. And I think it's best to get the word from a rehabber before you do anything with an animal that you've found.
So the first thing, of course, always is when we arrive on the scene to still assess the situation again. We try to do that as well as possible over the phone with a member of the public or through some footage that they sent us, but it's always going to be different in person. Before we kind of needed to assess what equipment we need, what we need to bring, but then when we get there we will also assess the animal again, see if it is something that does need capturing, rescuing and then rehabilitating, or if the animal might be better off not coming into our care, if it would profit from that in the first place, or if it might be okay and better off just being left in the wild, because obviously chasing it, capturing it and bringing it to our center will always put them through a lot of stress. The majority of the animals that we get, actually, whatever the situation they've been put in, their injuries or orphaned animals, a lot of the time either is caused by human interaction, by things caused by humans. So I believe it is our responsibility to help them out as much as we possibly can.
So after the rescue or after a member of public brings them in, they will be transferred to an incubator or kennel or cage that fits what they need, their size, their age. We do a full examination after they're warm. During that examination, we figure out what they need, if they need to go on medication, if they need fluids, if they need anything before they're passed on to either staff or an intern. Once they are examined, we pass them on to a staff or an intern, like I said, and we will kind of oversee their care. The interns are really good. They take care of them so well, and then watch them grow. If we had a really small animal come in, let's say like a baby deer mouse or a really small baby bunny, we put them in these small bucket incubators. We can fit one of our hotties, we call them. They're just like the heat discs. We can put one in there very easily, keeps them warm. A lot of little ones can't thermoregulate, so we keep them in smaller ones. Then once they get bigger, or if they come in bigger, they move to this size incubator. Same for pretty much all the animals. And then bigger than that, they move into this incubator. And once they're out of this one, they either move into a cage like the one you see behind me, or a kennel if it's a raccoon, and then into outdoor cages after that whole process is over.
Every animal is different regarding releases, at what age, what species, and how far they go. With the deer, all their spots must be gone. The males must be growing little antlers. With raccoons, they gotta be big and fat. You judge a healthy raccoon by its tail. They store fat in their tail to get them through the winter. I bet you didn't know that.
One of my main roles here at Critter Care is managing the bears inside and outside of our care. Hi, my name's Emma. I'm the Junior Wildlife Supervisor and the Head Bear Supervisor here at Critter Care Wildlife Society. So when someone calls about an orphaned cub, we first try to get as much detail as possible with how long they've been seeing it, where they've been seeing it, where they're located, and if there's been a mom around at all or anything like that. At that time, we will get in contact with conservation and see if we can be granted permission to intake this cub. The rescues for bears are a little bit challenging because they are obviously a very strong and very big animal. Even though they are small, they are very strong. So we usually try with capturing of bears to use live traps. This is just a metal trap that's baited with food. It's more likely for the animal to go in it, and it's a lot less stressful for them. So we place the trap where they've been seen most frequently. They have to be placed on someone's yard or in their area where it can be monitored constantly. Once the bear goes into the trap, they will have my phone number, they will give me a call, and I will go out at any hour to pick up the bear. And then the bear will come into our care and we'll get a full examination, and then we will go forward with its care from there. After we receive a bear, it gets taken into one of our exam rooms where we will do an exam. For bears, we try to do as least hands-on as possible. So we will get their weight and we will do a general overlook. If they have an injury or an illness that we think we need to sedate them for, we can do that here. And then we can prescribe anything that they need, whether that's an antibiotic or an anti-inflammatory. From then, we kind of decide based on each situation if the animal is to stay inside or go straight outside to an outdoor enclosure. Once they go outside, they are placed in an isolation area. This is so if we are integrating bears into a cage that already has bears, it's done slowly and they can get used to each other through a small area. For releasing our black bears, we always release them after the spring hunting season, which tends to end in around June. From that, we have to do this in coordination with BC Conservation and the BC Ministry and Government. So there's a lot of hands that are needed to make sure their release is done well. A common misconception is that black bears are quite dangerous. They are approaching on humans because a lot of times people are leaving out garbage or doing things that the bears don't know is incorrect. People need to understand that these bears are just trying to live, they're trying to eat, and a lot of times the food resources for them aren't plentiful, and if there is food available, they're going to eat it. So people need to be better about putting away their garbage and locking it up so that we aren't ruining the bear's chance of life.
What makes Critter Care unique is that a few years ago I started an internship program, and that program is where young people come from all over the world, literally all over the world, and help us run the center, raise the babies. A lot of them stay up until they're released. So without them, we could not operate. We get too many animals.
Hi, my name's Nathan and I'm an intern here at Critter Care.
Hi, my name is Nell and I'm an intern here at Critter Care. I just wanted to work with animals after I finished school, and I really wanted to go to Canada. I searched up online what kind of animal stuff you can do here, and I found Critter Care as one of the best things you can do here.
I took animal care in college. I've always loved animals, and I found it on a site called Working Abroad, and Canada looks really nice, so I chose Critter Care.
A lot of them come, some to be, they're going, towards becoming a veterinarian, or some of them just have to complete an internship for whatever they're doing. So they'll choose to do it with wildlife. And so that's how we get them. And most of them, I have to say, come from Europe, places like, Germany, England, all of those places. Very few from Canada.
Oh, the experience you make here, just seeing different animal stories, especially the small ones, watching them grow up, getting to the size where you can release them and giving them a second chance at life. Of course, there are also the sad stories where the animal doesn't make it, but both are so rewarding and teach you so much.
Obviously I love the animals and I love watching the animals' personalities come out and seeing them thrive after some of them have come in on the brink of death. That's one of my favorite things. But I also really like to watch the interns. They come from all edges of the world, you know, corners of every state, province, country. And to watch them become friends is really rewarding for me because I was that shy little intern who came in with no friends, and I made some of the best friends that I will ever have here, and watching them get to experience that is something that is, I think, invaluable. It's really beautiful.
Without the internship, we wouldn't be able to raise these animals. We need those young people to help us. A lot of places you just help the people that raise them. Here they actually raise their own babies. I hear from a lot of them when they go home and they say, oh Gail, you know, I could still hear the raccoons. And I said, that's called phantom trilling. That's exactly what it's called.
Everyone here is really friendly, very helpful. It was very welcoming when I got in, and even some people that I only knew for a week, I started missing when they left.
I have made some of my most closest friends here, mostly because we live so close to each other that you just know everything about everyone. Before I got here, I really wanted to do medicine, study medicine, and now here I've learned I'm so much better with animals than I am with people. So my direction is going more into vet med now, because I can't imagine spending my life not working with animals.
So we have 5 educational animals on site, 2 skunks, 2 raccoons and a bobcat. Our education days are fairly regular, especially during our off season, so during the quieter winter months, and that allows school children to come in and they get taught about all the animals that we take in, and also shown why we do what we do. Some people question us as to why we're doing it. It's just to spread the importance of our work. We also look to inspire the next generation of wildlife rehabilitators, because at the end of the day, wildlife and human conflict is going to increase no matter what we do. As much as we want to try and reduce that, going forward it always will do. So we want as many people as possible to know what it is we do and inspire other people to do the same. We're often a last resort for a lot of people, so to get our name out there, and if people are really if they found an animal, they really don't know what to do with it. You know, if people immediately know, oh, we can call critter care, you know, everybody's happy. That's that's the aim of it. All of the animals, in fact, that we have in care we call them residential animals. Due to the circumstances that they all arrived, they weren't deemed possible for release, one reason or another. In the case of our bobcat, he was in such an awful way when he was found, and on consultant with vets and various wildlife experts, he was deemed that it would not be safe for him to be released, and kids absolutely love to come and see him and experience him. Obviously, how often do you see a bobcat? Hardly ever. So, you know, it's fantastic to have him here. Our movie star raccoons, we're still working on them because they're not fully integrated into that kind of scheme yet. They were in the movie industry, and they unfortunately weren't treated particularly well. So they are offered refuge here by Gail, and we try to provide them with as much natural enrichment. And it is the same for the skunks too. They came in, they were deemed not releasable. Because of their closeness to admissions, they are prime. If you get, if say someone's been bringing in a bunny, we can just walk over to the skunks and they're there. And the number of people that, you know, are in awe of them, even though they're more commonly seen, the people love them, and it's brilliant. We're always looking for volunteers. We always need volunteers, especially cage cleaners, because our interns, the workload they have is you know, it's big, and especially if they have off days, because they do work a lot on their off days. So if they could have a cage cleaner that could come in and do, you know, the relief of having somebody to do a deep clean for you on a day off is brilliant, believe me. So, you know, if you're interested in in cleaning cages. We also have our deck is where we prepare all the animal food. That's always busy. We have deliveries from local superstore, from Superstore and various other places. We always need people to sort through that, even take some of it. Also rescues, we always need someone. No, if we've got a phone call, say someone's got an injured bunny in, say, Abbotsford, you know, we have very few people that are actually, that we can send or are available at certain times. So if, you know, you can do your own capture training and become a, you know, like a trained wild, you know, animal capturer for us, and then we could phone you and send you out for whatever it may be at that point.
It doesn't necessarily have to be money. It can be supplies, medical supplies, blankets, towels. We need that stuff all the time, especially during baby season, as well as calling a rehabber when you're unsure about something. There are a lot of situations that could be avoided if people called and got advice before they intervened. A lot of things are done incorrectly, and I think it's best to get the word from a rehabber before you do anything with an animal that you've found.
We do, of course, rely on donations both financially and of different items, but all of that kind of helps us only so much. The real important thing is, as soon as you come across an animal that is in distress, injured or something like that, is that you call someone, in this case for wild mammals in distress, that would be us, and that you report it to us so that we can actually do something about that. All the donations and stuff that go to our center are great, but they're not going to do something for an animal if no one lets us know that a situation is going on.
If you learn about our wildlife, then you're more inclined to take care of it, protect it. And you know, we advertise beautiful British Columbia because of our mountains, our lakes, our wildlife, and all of those things. That's how we advertise it. So if we're going to advertise it that way, we need to take care of it.
There are a lot of reasons why critter care is important. It's important for people to learn. So people like me, or people like the interns who are coming through university or not through university. For the members of public, we are the biggest facility in southern British Columbia. So it is really important that we educate the public on these animals. They're not so different from domestic animals. I mean, they're all kind of cut from the same cloth. And I think it's important for people to not see them as pests and see them as something that we need to cherish and take care of.
I've loved every minute as an intern and staff. It's not something like I ever planned on doing, but this place means like everything to me. I love it. I mean, I'm still, you know, because I actually came out to kind of doing my other job, but this place kind of calling me back.
I personally feel very connected to animals, and you may argue that us rehabbing and rescuing a few animals may not make a huge difference towards the populations of the animals and the protection of certain species, but it does make a difference to me that we're helping like individual animals. We still are able to change the individual animals' lives that come into our care. We're able to give them a second chance at their life, which to me is as much as I can ask for here, really.
I have learned so much here about myself, about different kind of stuff and different kind of people, the animals. I have learned so much that honestly this was an experience of a lifetime.
For me, it's been an emotional journey. I love what I do. And one of the last things that my husband said to me before he passed is, no matter what, you keep critter care going, because there is no other place for them. And I have done that. And I have created an amazing place for these animals.